Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are talking boxing. How's everybody doing on the day? Man, everybody that's coming in and tuning in right now, please like and share the show. It helps with the visibility of the show. We're going to get this thing rolling and popping. How y'all doing on this evening? Man, if you ask me, I had a great day today. Work was hard, right? But now I'm here getting ready to do what I love, and that's talk some boxing with y'all. And we got some good topics on the day. Now, we got a couple of topics that we're going to talk about as we get into the just of things, right? And what I mean by getting into the just of things, I'm talking about Adrian Broner, Omar Figueroa, both of them getting in trouble with the law. And Mikey Garcia, one of my favorite fighters, was asked a question about this fight right here. He was asked a question about it. And Mikey gave one of the best opinions out there you could ask for, period. He did. And what Mikey said, I'm telling you, we're going to get to it a little bit later in the show. But it's very interesting because Lomachenko right now is getting ready to maybe face Jorge Linares or Manny Pacquiao. He's getting ready to face either one of the two. Right now, things are looking towards the Pacquiao direction, but everybody is steaming in the direction of Jorge Linares. They've been beefing a lot on Twitter, going back and forth with each other, so we're looking to see that fight happen very soon. There's a strong possibility that fight happens. But if you talk about Manny Pacquiao and Lomachenko, Manny Pacquiao in his prime will be a good matchup. But where we are right now, I don't see that being, too much of a good matchup right now. But we're gonna get into it, but we're gonna get some people, popping in this video, and I want to get y'all thoughts on this fight as it pertains to Lomachenko, Floyd Mayweather, both in their prime. Who wins? Because they both had tremendous skill set at where they are right now in the sport of boxing. Floyd Mayweather had tremendous skill set at 130, right? Lomachenko, tremendous skill set at 130, right? And as the list, continues to goes on as far as what Lomachenko does in the game, Lomachenko, I hate the fact that he's 32 years old and he's trying to really truly establish himself in the game, but everybody's giving him the respect that he deserves, because of his skill set. The lack of fights are not there with Lomachenko at all, period. But at the same time, man, this guy, he's up there as far as skill set wise, right? Floyd Mayweather is up there as far as top pound for pound. Right? You have to put him up there. Now, as this thing continues to goes on, I want to talk about Adrian Broner first. Right? AB, just now getting in trouble with the law here in Atlanta at Lenox Mall. I think it was early on Monday. Well, late night. Something like that. As far as the time is concerned, Adrian Broner getting in trouble with the law. Female wanted to take a picture with Broner. He didn't want to take the picture. And the female saying that Broner allegedly put his hands on her, groped her in a way. And Adrian Broner was arrested. He bonded out with $2,000. And it just puts a black eye on Adrian Broner right now. A guy who is trying to get things right in his life, who is trying to make the necessary adjustments in order to be back, on top of things as far as the boxing world is concerned. Now, I did make a joke earlier today where I was talking about with Adrian Broner. I was saying, well, with AB, he talked about going back to the streets, right? But I didn't think it was going to be like this, with something like this, happening and taking place with the female. Now, anytime female and women are involved with sexual assault or whatever the case may be, you want to take those things serious. And sometimes, you do have women who take advantage of the law in situations with saying those things so that guys can be arrested or whatever the case may be because things don't go their way. And sometimes you do have guys who may do just that. Touch a woman in a certain place where she doesn't feel comfortable or whatever the case may be. And then before you know it, look at where you are. So as it pertains to Adrian Broner, I'm not going to sit here and say that Broner did it and Broner didn't do it or whatever the case may be. Let's hope that Broner did not do it. But at the end of the day, this is bad for Broner. It's very bad for Broner. And the reason why I say it's very bad for Broner is because, listen, you should be focusing on fighting. That's what should be your main concern right now. Your main concern should be Omar Figueroa, and whatever you have to do in order to beat Omar Figueroa, you need to be doing it. Now, this is interesting. When Adrian Broner, was booked and everything, they put your weight, your height, all of that, right? Broner right now is 5'8", 160. 5'8", 160. Broner need to cut the weight. I'm thinking that Broner should be in the gym training, preparing for Omar Figueroa. Is he doing it? Absolutely not. We see where his mind is. We see where his focus is right now in the swings of things. And me, if you ask me, why are you here in Atlanta? Floyd Sr. just left here this past weekend. If you was here during the time that Floyd Sr. was here, then okay, cool. But why are you here? There's nothing here for you right now. You should be focused on training, not being here in Atlanta at Lenox Mall doing whatever it was you was doing. There's no reason for it. But if you're Adrian Broner, when you have the ability to do whatever it is you want to do, you tend to do that. Now, his opponent, this is what's shocking, right? Because hours later, after Broner gets arrested, Omar Figueroa is now in trouble with the law with a DUI. Like, it just fathoms me how both of these guys are getting in trouble with the law. And me and one of my guys from TBV, the Boxing Voice, me and Junior, we was sitting there talking and we was like, man, you know what? Al Heyman right now is shaking his head, pissed off, saying, why is Adrian Broner messing up this easy money? Easy money. And the reason why we say it's easy money is because, for one, Broner has a really good chance of beating Omar Figueroa. And I'm talking about a really good chance if Broner comes to fight. And he could put himself back, in the conversation as far as fighting is concerned, based upon his performance. But if you're Omar Figueroa, this is not what you want to do right now, is be in trouble with the law at the same time Adrian Broner is. And it's one thing that Broner did, post, and I'm not going to say anything about it as it pertains to, boxing. But Broner was talking like, hey, although I voted for Trump, that doesn't mean that I'm going around grabbing pussies. Which I kind of agree with him on that. I don't see Broner as a guy who is going to be that outrageous in a public setting, in the mall, and do something to that magnitude. Because I know one thing for sure, he loved Miss Louis Bags. You all know who she is. But he loves her. He really do. And I don't think Broner would put himself in position to mess that up right now. But that's just me. Everybody, don't agree and be on the same page as it pertains to fighters and their choices and decisions it is that they're making. But if you ask me, Adrian Broner has a lot of work to do. A lot of work. Because he's just continuously digging a hole for himself to where eventually he won't even be able to climb out of. He won't. But as things continue to get better, right, in the show, past the news to that magnitude, I want to talk about Mikey Garcia and what Mikey said. Mikey did an interview with one of the correspondents with ESN News, and this was one of the questions that they asked him. It was about Mayweather versus Lomachenko, both in their prime. Who would win? Right? And I was really excited to see, well, what is it that Mikey's going to say? I was thinking more so Mikey was going to be leaning towards Lomachenko, because that's where everybody's been leaning towards. A lot of people was picking saying, hey, Lomachenko would dominate Mayweather because his skill set was on another level than what Floyd was. But if both of these guys were to fight at 130 in their primes, it wouldn't even be a matchup. Floyd would literally wipe the floor with Lomachenko at 130. And I'm talking by knockout. Seriously. That's when Floyd was focusing on getting the stoppage, getting the knockout. Floyd was focused on that in his early years in his career. It was in the latter part of Floyd's career to where he really just truly focused on defense. Right? After the hand injuries and everything like that, Floyd really wasn't concerned about getting the knockout or the stoppage. Floyd really wasn't concerned about that. But at 130, both of these guys in their prime? Come on now. But this is interesting. I want you guys to take a listen to what Mikey Garcia had to say as it pertains to this fight.
After Lomachenko fight, a lot of people started talking about who do you think would win Lomachenko Floyd Mayweather at his prime. What do you think?
I still think Floyd beats Lomachenko in both primes. I think you could look at Mayweather when he was at 130 pounds. When he beat Chicanito Hernandez, when he beat Diego Corrales, those were great performances. Maybe some of his best performances. And that was a young Floyd. Then he beat Arturo Gatti, and then moving up in weight, and he was just fast and strong. It's not till recent that he kind of backed off from looking for the stoppage and looking for the knockouts. He focused more on his defense towards the end of his career. But earlier he was dangerous, and I think a prime Floyd beats a prime Lomachenko.
There's also talk about Lomachenko-Pacquiao.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too, but I don't know. I don't think they're serious about that. Maybe in a few years, if Lomachenko moves up in weight and if Pacquiao's still available, because I think Pacquiao might be ready to retire. I mean, he had already kind of flirted with the idea of retirement before, and then he came back, and so he might be close to retiring. I think I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening.
How do you?
Mikey don't see the Lomachenko and Pacquiao fight happening, but Mikey sees Floyd in his prime versus Lomachenko in his prime, giving it to Floyd. Now I wonder what everybody going to say as it pertains to that, because everybody feels different, you know, based upon the Lomachenko fans right now today. And I got a guy, a real good, cool guy, who's a big time Lomachenko fan, and you can basically see in his skill set, because his skills kind of look like Lomachenko as he continues to make his way through the amateurs, and he's getting ready to turn pro hopefully this year. And his name is Abel Aparicio. Abel Aparicio is a really good guy. If you go back and tune in to Jeremy Sports Network on YouTube, and you will be able to see my interview with Abel Aparicio, we talked about Lomachenko and what it is that Lomachenko brings to the game that everybody else don't bring to the game right now in boxing. What is it that Lomachenko does that captivates the eye of a young fighter right now in boxing? Because he's a young fighter getting ready to transition into pros, and he talks about Lomachenko as if he's always known Lomachenko, you know? I mean, talking like this guy based his whole entire fight game off of Lomachenko. And he's young. He's young, he's energetic. He's very quick and agile on his feet. Loves to put himself in different angles like Lomachenko. And that's what's good about Lomo, right? It's the fact that Lomachenko can put himself in position to be successful. He's very quick. I'm talking about explosive on his feet, right? Those are things about Lomachenko that I really, really like. But to sit here and say that Lomachenko will beat Floyd at 130, boy, that's a reach, right? Is that not a reach? And those of you who tuning in right now, please, thank you for tuning in. Like and share the show. It helps with the visibility of the show. We need as many shares as possible. Get those thumbs up. And shout out to, I don't want to get your name wrong, but this is what he said. He said Bob Arum added that he thinks he is close to finalizing a deal for Pacquiao to battle Alvarado. The 39-year-old Pacquiao hasn't fought since losing a controversial unanimous decision to Jeff Horn on July the 2nd in Brisbane, Australia. That was Jeff Horn's hometown. And this is what Bob Arum had to say, and I quote, "We're making progress on it," Arum said. "I'm going to talk to Michael Kuntz tonight and hopefully wrap it all up." Pacquiao told reporters in the Philippines on Tuesday that he would welcome a fight against Argentina's Lucas Matisse on April the 14th. "I see he has talked about fighting Matisse," Arum said, "but that's not going to happen." Arum's company promotes Pacquiao and Alvarado. Oscar De La Hoya Golden Boy Promotions represent Matisse. Appreciate that information right there, bro. Because now you start to kind of figure out exactly where Pacquiao is going to be going as far as his next fight is concerned. And the Alvarado fight, I'm just asking, and I want to know if you're still tuning in and you're still here. What is it Pacquiao's going to get from this fight? Right? What is Pacquiao going to get from the fight with Alvarado? What is there? Why not take a rematch with Jeff Horn or Terrence Crawford that's right there with Bob Arum? We know Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn are set to battle it out, right? Why not the winner take on Pacquiao? And in the meantime, maybe Alvarado is a good fight just to keep Pacquiao, tuned up and going. And then eventually he may get a rematch between the winner of Jeff Horn and Terrence Crawford. But what does this Alvarado fight do for him? More so than what the Matisse fight could do for him. I think the Matisse fight in Manny Pacquiao, I don't think it'll be as good based upon Matisse's last performance and what it is that he put forth in front of us a couple of weeks ago on HBO, I don't think Matisse was eye popping to me. A lot of people say Matisse looked as if he was overtrained. To me, Matisse just looked like he was a half a step or a whole step slower than what he was accustomed to being. I'm not even buying the knockout that Matisse had in this fight. So it puts us in a position to try to figure out what is actually going on with Pacquiao. Isaiah say Bob would try to retire Pat, but serving him. I agree. I'm thinking that, Bob Arum wants to put the best fights out there possible. But if you Manny Pacquiao, the best fights to me is either a rematch with the winner of Jeff Horn, Terrence Crawford. I don't know so much about the Alvarado fight. I just don't see what we would get out of that. Right? But the Matisse fight, I could say, maybe I could get something out of the Matisse fight. Just because Matisse is, I don't want to say just because he's an interim champion, right? He's not the true WBA champion, but he's an interim. But outside of that, I just don't see what else is on Pacquiao's plate besides Terrence Crawford or rematch with Jeff Horn. And Isaiah, I'm agreeing with you. Like, serving him up to Terrence Crawford and Crawford maybe finishing off Pacquiao would be awesome. Right? I think it'd be a really good fight. Manny, given the fact that he's still quick, he still can box, he still can move. I believe his heart is still in the game. The passion is still there to some degree. To where, if he was to get a fight with Terrence Crawford, I think he would take this fight very seriously. But saying that the Alvarado fight from Arum would be good for Pacquiao right now, I don't want that fight. And I don't think a lot of people want that fight as well. Most people will probably tune in the Matisse fight just because, Lucas Matisse has the name and the knockout power. Which, if you ask me, I don't think Matisse has it anymore.